1,000 miles away from home in Doha, in Qatar, on the Persian Gulf, and many of England's finest star back in Blighty for this prestige international match. Before kick-off, football will take time to remember the German keeper, Robert Enke, who died at the weekend in such shocking circumstances. Well, Michael Carrick twisted an ankle in training yesterday, the latest addition to a lengthening casualty list. It means Jermaine Jenas starts for the first time since Fabio Capella's first game in charge going on 3 years ago. Rooney and Barry probably the only first choices at the moment. Brazil maybe only three players short of full strength. Robinho just short of full fitness sits it out. But otherwise, it's pretty much the team that Dunga would have wanted to name. The referee tonight is a local Qatari referee, Abdul Rahman Abdu, the biggest night of his career, that's for sure. And probably the biggest night of Wayne Rooney's career in an England shirt. England take on the best in the world, in another world. Still 7 months away from the main event at which Brazil are always top of the bill. And here's Rooney trying to get bent on his way. He's caught offside. Andy Townsend is alongside me. Just what is Fabio Capello going to learn from this tonight?
Well, I think he'll be anxious to see exactly how courageous the England players are when they're in possession. Without the ball, they've got to be careful. You can't go blood and thunder chasing after teams like they had done through a European qualification. They've got to be patient at times. But when they've got good possession, Brazil have their own frailties. Don't forget that, Clive. It's customary for Brazilian defenders to be a little bit all over the place, and England have got to make the most of that.
New partnership at the heart of the defence. Two left-footers, Upson and Lescott, immediately playing Barry into trouble. But here's Shaun Wright-Phillips on his favoured right side with a chance to impress. Easy enough for Lucio. Most of Brazil's problems have been at where they've had a couple of headline withdrawals from João and Luizão. So number 4 alongside Lucio, a late addition to the squad, Thiago Silva of Milan.
It has been scorchingly hot today, you know, during the daylight hours, of course, but although the temperature's dropped now, Clive, I've been down on that pitch, it's very hot, very sticky. Conserving energy as well is an important factor. I think already you can see there's no point in just charging after people on your own. You've got to be very careful and make sure everybody's doing it together.
All of the World Cup finalists are looking to collect confidence between now and arriving in South Africa, and nothing would boost belief quite like a win over the Brazilians. Rooney coming deep to get a hold of the ball. Upson to Jenas, and now Wes Brown. Here's Wright-Phillips. Chance to run at a makeshift left back. Number 6 here, Michel Bastos of Lyon, has not played in that position all season, and Wright-Phillips almost made the most of it to feed Rooney. Milner will roll it back in, and here's Rooney again. Had a clear-sided goal there. Gareth Barry will strike. And what a perfect start that could have been for Shaun Wright-Phillips and for Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, great play from Wright-Phillips. He waited the ball back up before trying to just clip it past him. It was a flashing cross across the 6-yard box. Rooney just inches away from it. Good start.
An encouragement for Wright-Phillips. Michel Bastos, those of you who saw Lyon against Liverpool on ITV 10 days ago, played on the right of the Lyon attack that night. That's his position, but he's left-footed. And following the withdrawal of Fabio Aurelio of Liverpool, Brazil are without a left-back, and so it is Michel Bastos who has volunteered to try to stand up to Wright Phillips. Felipe Melo. Here's Gilberto Silva. Luis Fabiano's come very deep. Maicon will try to get forward at every opportunity down that right-hand side, and that's been deflected behind for a corner kick to Brazil.
Concentration here, England. Now they need to switch on, because the Brazilians, of course, just as liable to flash one in across that 6-yard box, or put their hand on it and just play short. Instinctively, very quickly.
Both of the central defenders. Gilberto Silva is useful in the air too. It's towards Thiago Silva. It falls pretty kindly in the end for Ben Foster to grab. The Manchester United keeper who's played just one Carling Cup tie at Barnsley in the last month.
A great ball in, right into a dangerous zone. Whipped out, goalkeeper can't come and get that. Just doing enough there, I think. Wayne Bridge in front of Luis Fabiano.
Comes off Michel Bastos to Wright Phillips again. Gina's trying to play bent in. Lucio. Ilano. Lucio to Michel Bastos. Will be happier coming this way than going backwards. It's Luis Fabiano of Sevilla. Kaká plays his club football in Spain now for Real Madrid. Maicon. Ilano. Brazil trying to settle into their familiar passing rhythm. Good work from Wes Brown, though. And England have got the decision here.
I think it's a decent tempo about the start of the game, Clive. What we don't want is, because of where we are, and we understand all the possibilities for Qatar in terms of 2022, etc. But we don't want an exhibition match. We want a fast-paced international friendly where teams are testing each other and really pushing each other to the limit.
Those of you watching on Freesat on high-definition television can access our HD coverage here on ITV1 by pressing the red button. Rather eerie atmosphere. Feels that there are a portion of the crowd and maybe seeing their first football match. Here's Felipe Melo. Very ambitious in that range.
Well, he was looking, he was wanting someone to offer him a little run between defenders there, maybe Nilmar. In the end, nobody really gave him much option, so he's decided to have a pop well wide, handsomely wide.
Brazil are #1. England are officially ranked 7th in the world. John Terry not stripped for action. Both ankle injury victims. They have met 3 of the teams placed above them in prestige internationals in the last year. Beating Germany, losing to Spain, drawing with Holland. Free kick given against Milner, but this is the company they're keeping now. This is the level they've got to prove themselves at if they are to become more than a quarter-final team next summer. Given away by Gilberto Silva, unusually. Wright Phillips has lost control of it.
Nothing wrong with pressing Brazil high up the pitch. I think that's where England have to get the balance right. When they're in their own third and they want to roll it across the 6-yard box, go after and press them, like Rooney is now, and he wants Shaun Wright Phillips to get in tight. No point in going in 1s and 2s in hot conditions. Wear yourself out very, very quickly. What they have to be careful, where they have to get the balance right, England, Clive, is when they try and hunt teams down in and around the halfway line. Players get pulled out of position, that's when Brazil can expose you.
Brown penalised, a little harshly for a using maybe his forearm to get some leverage on Luis Fabiano's back. Claimed to be a glass half full man yesterday, Capello, but he must be staring rather enviously at the turnout for his opposite number, Dunga. Maicon galloping forward, finding Elano. Gilberto Silva to Michel Bastos. Kaka roaming and Brown going with him and winning a free kick.
Solid start from Wes Brown. Got to take the time, choose the right time to look to get forward. His defensive work so far has been thorough.
But to have so many withdrawals prior to the trip and then to lose Lampard, Terry and Carrick on the trip. 25 players picked for England internationals before tonight this season, 12 of them unavailable to play here tonight, and you've got to add the names of Walcott and Joe Cole and Hargreaves and Downing to that, who haven't even figured for England this season yet. Here's Bridge, though, one of the players trying to take his opportunity in the absence of Ashley Cole. Run was better than the pass. Elano towards Luis Fabiano. Managed to retain possession. Waiting for Michel Bastos. Felipe Melo a little loose with it. Kaka dispossessed by Ginas. Elano, not quite sure what he had in mind there. He was asking an awful lot of Maicon if he was expecting him to make a run.
Yeah, he thought he was going to be galloping forward. We know that the right back does like to get forward at every opportunity, but he was no way he was ready for that.
Three of the Inter Milan back five together in the Brazilian defence. Goalkeeper Julio Cesar, right back Maicon and captain Lucio, all club mates. Rooney's having an inspired start. He almost got bent in. He's loving the captaincy. Nilmar's missed control. Oh, and then a mistake. Nilmar can gallop away from Upson. Chance to pull it back. But England recover. They got a lot of men back there and bailed out Matthew Upson, who had a bad moment.
Yep, Upson can thank his partner there, Joleon Lescott, who read the cutback very well. Again, it's concentration. He thought he'd seen the danger out there, Matty Upson, but he hadn't. Nilmar picked his pocket, and he's lucky. He's lucky that there were lots of white shirts flooding back, and Lescott was quick.
So many isolated individual errors have been punished by England's opponents in the last 6 months. Defensive slips have been a theme which Fabio Capello's had to return to too often. Bender would be offside, but the ball runs all the way through to Julio Cesar. Gilberto Silva, who turned 33 last month, but is in just every team that Dunga names. And this man will all stand alongside him, Felipe Melo, feeding Kaka. Luis Fabiano finding some space. And now in behind Bridge, and it's Lescott to the rescue again for England. Luis Fabiano is the man down. But it's a very fluid and at times fluent Brazilian attack in front of the two anchor men in midfield, Gilberto Silva and Felipe Melo. A lot of movement, which is going to cause England to have to think very carefully about who comes out to pick who up.
Exactly right, Clive. You have to be careful. If you're passing players on, you have to make sure that nobody's going to be in the space behind you. You've got to be very careful. Stay with your runners until you get the shout that someone else has got him from behind you. That is exactly what it's all about when you play South American teams. Their movement is wonderful. It's very fluid. And unless you're very organised, I'm sure Capello, a lot of work will have been done this week. Organisation, when they have the ball, get back into those two banks of four and make sure you're very, very solid.
A lot of these England players have good European experience, but this is a totally different challenge for them tonight. Brazil playing away all of their own. Barry. Wright Phillips. Now Brown has made progress ahead of him. Cross comes Thiago Silva. Very much a part of the football education of the England players, this. Only every 4 or 5 years you get the opportunity to play against Brazil. Rooney is in high form, trying to slide it into Wright Phillips, but picked off by Gilberto Silva. And here goes Kaká. It's got away from both Jenas and Barry. Still Kaká goes. Now trying to play in Luis Fabiano. Good work by Wayne Bridge and then by Matthew Upson.
Excellent defending once more. Kaká just shrugged off a couple of tackles in the middle of the park. That is when he's really at his very best, when he's able to break and make up that ground between the halfway line and the 18-yard box. Good defensive work again. This time I think it's Wayne Bridge getting across, narrowing the field down. Does excellent there to get a foot in on Fabiano.
Lucio calmly into the path of Felipe Melo. Kaká coming looking for the ball more and more often now. Nilmar, who is playing from this left-hand side in the main, he's a frontline striker with Villarreal, creating some space for Kaká. Well, Lescott has had an excellent start. Now Felipe Melo. Michel Bastos offering him an option on this left-hand side from fullback. Wright Phillips has some defending to do. Shot was blocked by Wright Phillips and headed away by Upson. Milner losing possession though. Now Gilberto Silva. Here's Elano, charged down by Milner. A lot of good, honest, earnest work behind the ball being done by England players.
Yeah, just have to be careful. Sometimes you do that much chasing around and making sure that you deny Brazil any opportunities to play, that when you get the ball yourself, of course, fighting for your breath, you give it away very quickly.
Elano now to Maicon. Squeezing across, which Ben Foster dealt with. Milner went all the way back with Maicon and made it as difficult for him as he could. Just signs of this Brazilian performance beginning to grow in authority. Just signs of Kaká getting some space to run at England. Bridge. Rooney. Bundled off the ball by Maicon. Throw-in's been given. This is Dunga's first coaching job. He took over some 3 years ago. His second game in charge of Brazil was a 3-0 win over Argentina at the Emirates. Not a bad start. Won the Copa America and Confederations Cup since, won everything that he could win and made them the #1 ranked team in the world. Management larks easy. Luis Fabiano. Kaká. Maicon to Elano. Maicon is a fast, athletic right back. His early cross, though, is no trouble for Ben Foster.
Just think once or twice when Lescott and Matty Upson have decent possession at the back, they don't have to look to try and find Darren Bent 40, 50 yards away. 3 or 4 times already. When the Sunderland striker spins, and yeah, he's offered himself, don't always have to do that. I think they'll have to learn to try and be a bit more patient, a little bit more creative. The boys in the middle of the park have a little bit more room than perhaps they think. They need to demand the ball off those centre-halves a little bit more and roll 20, 30-yard balls to Bent and Rooney.
Barry. Jenas. Now Bridge. See Fabio Capello directing him where to pass the ball, pulling the strings on the sidelines. Here's Wright Phillips. He's got the beating of Michel Bastos. Leon Clare recovered that time. Brown had run beyond Wright Phillips, and England rather exposed here. Nilmar trying to get beyond Upson, who's got the pace to see him off. Poor clearance by Foster straight to Kaká. He was lucky. Kaká doesn't use him as control.
Yeah, scruffy clearance a little bit from Ben Foster. Just about got away with that. Better from Matty Upson there, running Nilmar shoulder to shoulder.
Barry. Rooney. Now Now Wright Phillips. Rooney. Jenas. Rooney just tagged by Felipe Melo, but he couldn't dispossess the England skipper. And Wright Phillips has asked far too much of Jenas. Brown. Wright Phillips. Brazil have been ensconced in the business of qualifying from the South American group these last 2 years, the long business, 18 games. But they have beaten Italy twice this year. They put 6 past a strong Portuguese side in Brazil a year ago. They like to flex their muscles against the best European nations from time to time. Team tonight earn their livings in European club football. Kaká losing his footing and Barry finding the ball. Wright Phillips. Brown is again supporting him, and Wright Phillips has asked far too much of Wes Brown.
Yeah, that's not good enough for him. Wes Brown is making 40-yard runs on the overlap. Sean Wright Phillips has to take a lot more care than that. You can't keep asking your fullback to get galloping on the overlap and then denying the ball. It's sloppy play. He's got to be better than that.
That's sloppy too. Maicon just managed to reach it. There's a really big chance for Sean Wright Phillips tonight. He got a start against Slovenia at the start of September. Didn't really impress in the first half. Was taken off at half-time. Aaron Lennon came on and did impress, and then against Belarus in the last international, it was almost an audition with Capello giving starting places to both, but Wright Phillips drew the short straw in so much that he had to play from the left-hand side. Here he is on the right against a makeshift left back. And he's won the ball. Again, just a little strong for Brown. Lucio. Felipe Melo. Now Luis Fabiano. Gilberto Silva made a run beyond him. It's Kaká though. Milano. Well met by Bridge. Kaká though up to Luis Fabiano to the back heel. Kaká goes on. Fantastic challenge by Matthew Upson. And Rooney can break now. Only bent ahead of him. Milner. Wright Phillips. Brown had to check that time. Milner trying to play Wright Phillips in far too strong.
Yeah, I think you've seen there the very different styles both teams have. This was wonderful. Luis Fabiano holding it up just a little back heel, very nearly getting the return pass. Good work again from Upson. Then it was England's chance to counter. But once Rooney stepped back inside on the far side, Clive, then the whole move sort of slowed down a wee bit. Again, it's been, as I said earlier, scorchingly hot here today, and it's a very close, hot, humid atmosphere.
You're not making many friends at home. It's been pouring down there.
Well, it's true. I know. I do feel for it. But nonetheless, you've got to somehow, when you do go, Clive, you've really got to go with intent. Get people forward. Can't just serve the ball up to Funrise and expect them just to get on with it. You've got to support them from midfield. Fullbacks have to be brave. Wes Brown's trying to do that so far.
Lucio. Deceptive, leggy pace. Felipe Melo just inviting Kaká to go forward. Links up now with Michel Bastos. Driven goalwards. Wing Foster just about had him covered, but it was an audacious effort from the left back.
It's a great run from Nilmar. He runs out the space, allows Michel Bastos to fly forward. One touch, and he's already looking at Ben Foster. Can he test it? Can he work him? It's very, very close. I think just with the ease, with the way that Brazil are starting to move forward across that halfway line in towards England's last third, it's quite ominous at the moment.
That's the area of the field that he's used to operating in, the nominal left back, but there's a tradition of fullbacks going forward and never coming home. Cafu and Roberto Carlos seem to spend most of their careers in the opponent's half of the field. I haven't found another Roberto Carlos yet. They really are searching for a left back. It's been their problem position during qualifying. Lescott and Upson have stood firm so far. It's a good ball from Lescott to Rooney, and very well controlled. Jenas. But Rooney is providing that on-field example that Fabio Capello talked about yesterday. In by Barry, too high for Bent, but it'll come for Wright Phillips. That's a good cross in. Well defended by Thiago Silva, cleared by Michel Bastos. Here's Wright Phillips again, maybe encouraged by that. Jenas. Rooney's come deep. Jenas is going alone. Milner's onside here. 3 white shirts in the box. It's towards Rooney, and Bent reached it. Just couldn't quite control it. Couldn't quite grow enough there to get over it. Darren Bent.
That's good play, much better. Pen the Brazilians back in. This was that Michel Bastos strike earlier off the left-hand side. And Foster's seen that, he's watched that all the way. That's much more encouraging from England, that last little passage of play, where they've probed, they've kept him penned in. Sean Wright-Phillips delivered a couple of decent crosses, and Darren Bent, that's what he wants. He needs service. He's the sort of player, as I said, that is always going to spin and run away from the opposition. He needs people to provide for him. Rooney has to be the link.
Kaka. Tremendous acceleration, but not able to turn away from Upson. Here's some space, though, for Elano. Well, he's kept his place in the Brazilian team through all his travails of the last year or two. It was Bent's header, but just couldn't quite direct it in the way that he wanted. But I think England will be happy enough for Elano to strike from that kind of range. He plays in Turkish football now for Galatasaray. It's only the second time that Rooney and Bent have played together, and the first time was over 3.5 years ago. They had just over an hour in an international against Uruguay in the build-up to the last World Cup, and when Rooney came off, England were trailing 1-0, so not much of a recommendation in that sense, except that they have got 16 Premier League goals between them this season. In form, Michael, on towards Kaka. This time Barry seeing out his responsibilities. And Milner was caught a little bit late there by Maicon. Brazilian right back has gone down, whether to protect himself against any retribution or not, I'm not sure, but that could have been ugly.
They can be quite cynical at times. We know they play the beautiful game. They can put their foot in when they need to, don't worry. And they will if you're not careful. I think so far Capello will be very pleased with the way that his players have tracked the runners. Michel Bastos and Maicon in the main have always had people breathing down their necks when they've had the ball. Gareth Barry has done very well. There's this one there. It's just the follow-through that just catches James Milner. There's no studs up, there's no real intent. In fact, he may well have come off worse.
No, in fairness, you can see how Maicon now has got injured. Plenty to debate here, and if you are online at the moment, itv.com/football is the place to go. Debate the match online with fellow fans. Live chat on itv.com/football. Lucas Leiva there, waiting on the Brazilian bench now. What's going on here? Fabio Capello having a word with Elano.
What these breaks do, Clive, they give you a chance to get some water in. Just get your breath back and get your shape back. That was the Elano shot earlier, didn't really get it out of his feet, and consequence of that, underneath it and skied it. But just gives you, these little breathers are actually very important to take in this sort of climate. Use them wisely.
Brazil have been beaten just once in their last 21 internationals, and that after they'd qualified for the World Cup. An insignificant defeat in Bolivia last month. They actually won 11 in a row when the matches mattered in the middle part of this year, collecting the Confederations Cup, the World Cup rehearsal in South Africa in June. They've found a ruthless streak under Dunga. Maicon's okay. Elano just beyond Kaká. Ben can't quite reel that one in.
No, the service is great to him, Clive, so far. It's been up around his throat, up around his chest. Difficult. It was something coming into his feet a little bit more, just give him an opportunity to grab hold of it and bring others into the game.
Kaká is the man who's just trying to add that fantasy to Brazil's approach play. Gilberto Silva, now Luis Fabiano. Elano. Maicon. Tossed in hopefully towards Luis Fabiano, who found some space between centre-backs. Couldn't feed Elano, who's seen off by his former Manchester City teammate Wayne Bridge at the expense of a corner.
Yeah, unlucky Luis Fabiano there. Did actually find himself in a little pocket of space, but dragged it back. Once again, Wayne Bridge doing very well, running back towards his own goal, taking no chances. Just put it away, defend the corner.
4 Manchester City, 3 Manchester United in the starting 11 tonight. Elano with that corner. Dealt with by Wes Brown of Manchester United. Here's Felipe Melo. Looked to curl it, but straight into the midriff of Ben Foster. Allowed to shoot, though.
Yeah, he does well. He shapes there to shoot, and then just ducks back inside, but the goalkeeper's read it. Very comfortable in the end. Just trying to fade that one outside the post to bring it back in.
Nilmar trying to run Brown. He's got some pace, this guy. Now faced by Upson. Still Nilmar. In the end, the cross just asked a little bit too much of Luis Fabiano, but those two Spanish League strikers are starting to combine to some effect. Nilmar of Villarreal, Luis Fabiano of Sevilla. Milner just turned his back on Barry and wasn't really in position to receive the pass. Kaká.
Always looking to receive the ball, Kaká. Just in behind Gareth Barry and Jermaine Genius, if he can. Those two sitting Brazilian midfielders will get the ball and they'll look to fire a 20, 30-yard ball. And invariably, he's just standing in front of them, then he'll peel in behind them, and that's when he wanted to turn and run with the two centre-halves.
Like he might become a Manchester City player himself last January. And instead, after his 6 years at Milan, Real Madrid found the 68.5 million euros to prize him away. 68.5 million. Hasn't really settled yet either. He's scored one goal from open play. Right, Phillips, control letting down. Michel Bastos forward. Nilmar seeing more and more of the ball and troubling Brown now. Here's Luis Fabiano. Kaká running free to his left. Here's Kaká. That needed a save from Brown, from Foster. That was curling.
Good work from Ben Foster again. It was the same sort of shape that Felipe Melo got on his shot just now, apart from Kaká. Didn't have the pace to beat the goalkeeper, who was behind it well. Good hands.
Rooney. Genius. Now Rooney, dispossessed momentarily, but Genius can go on here and almost galloped into the penalty area.
It's unlucky, Jermaine Genius there. Gets a little bit of luck the way it come back to him, but he's very, very close to getting in. And once or twice already with good effect.
And who scored the first goal of the Fabio Capello era, February 2008. His only start for Capello until tonight. Here's Kaká. Luis Fabiano tried to play it back to him, but Genius had come all the way back. Here's Milner. Rooney. Just eased off the ball by Felipe Melo. No complaint from Rooney. And this is Nilmar now. to stop the ball, and Matthew Upson with some very strong defending, not to the liking of Dunga. He knew a tackle himself in his day.
He actually should have done better there, Neil Maher. He's complaining that he should have got a free kick on. I don't think that at all. He had a great opportunity there to get at Upson on the outside, and he ran back infield, run into white shirts.
Milner's lost it. Elano. Felipe Melo. Michel Bastos. Flips up.
And these are the actual parts of the game where the England players will learn more than ever. This is that shot from Kaká this time. Didn't have quite enough pace on it to really trouble the goalkeeper. That was Neil Maher there looking for a free kick that never was.
It's a pretty rough challenge.
I don't think so. I think he's already looking. He's just turned back into trouble, realising white shirts around him quite. It's when they have the ball in good possession, like this sort of situation now. You want to go after them, you want to hunt them down. If you do it on your own, then you'll get picked off and they're in behind you very quickly. So you have to be careful, very patient. It's not natural for a Capello team to sit and wait. He likes his teams to go after the opposition. But you can't. You've got to be careful.
Michel Bastos. Easy enough for Foster. Milner's played most of his England football on the left-hand side. His first start for his country tonight after appearing as a substitute in the last 5 internationals. But it's on the right that he plays for his club, Aston Villa. He finished up at left back in the last international. Jenas. Instructions being barked within earshot of Jenas by his manager. Here's Rooney! And he's looked as dangerous as anybody on the field so far.
Yeah, he's engineered, fashioned a little bit of room for himself out in the wider areas. He's cut inside instead of looking to bounce it into someone this time. He's already thinking, can I hit the target? Not with that one.
Another man within earshot of Fabio Capello is our touchline reporter, Gabriel Clark.
Thank you, Clive. It might not be coming across from up there, but it really is an endurance test physically for a lot of the England, all the England players out there right now. The sweat is dripping off them.
Here goes Rooney, feeding off Ben. Oh, body checks on the edge of the penalty area. Ben couldn't catch up with it. And the referee's given the corner. I think he must have played an advantage there as the ball ran to Ben. Really wants the free kick.
Was it a significant advantage though, Clive, really? I'm not so sure. There was still, it wasn't a golden opportunity for Darren Bent. He was under pressure. I think Rooney wanted the free kick. I think when you see Darren Bent emerge into this picture now, Lucio and the opposing centre-half are closing him down.
Worth a yellow card too for Thiago Silva. He escaped there. England have a corner. Taken by James Milner. Headed away as far as Wright Phillips. Milner's cross. Upson was waiting for that. It glanced off Maicon. Rooney again. Run into traffic. Barry. It's found Milner. James Milner! Well, he came close to scoring in his last international. Hit the post against Belarus at Wembley, but on his unfavoured left foot.
Yeah, good little step over and then dips inside to have the shot. But again, when England press, when England look to get in behind Brazil, they have their frailties. They don't like running back towards their own goal.
Sorry, Gabriel, Wayne Rooney interrupted you.
Yes, he did, just to say, and that is essentially what Fabio Capello is looking for, clearly for England to have the ball a lot more, but physically this is a real test for them. They knew it would be hot here, but I think the amount of water that they're taking on when they possibly can is a real factor, and for a lot of the players out there used to autumn back home, this is a special test tonight.
I had the same problem around the pool this morning. Here's Gilberto Silva, now Kaká. Felipe Melo. Maicon. That's beautifully taken by Luis Fabiano. Difficult ball to control. Just about brought it under his spell. Maicon again. far post is Milmar, and Brown had to defend it. It was Fabio Capello's first right back, Wes Brown. He played in 7 of the first 9 internationals, of which Capello took charge 3 of the first 4 qualifying games before losing his place to Glenn Johnson. This is his first cap for over a year. And ironically, at a time he's been playing at centre-back for Manchester United. His height will come in useful here. Milano's corner, it's Rooney who heads it away. Milner trying to help it on its way. Michel Bastos. Felipe Melo. Kaká. Maicon. Important header by Brown.
Another good header from Wes Brown there. He's done well in his defensive work. Only once, I think, Nilmar's shown him a clean pair of heels down this their left-hand side, England's right. I think they've concentrated well at the back so far. England, they've been very thorough in that department.
Here's Gilberto Silva with some space, and his shot was deflected. It's gone for a corner.
The occasional goal over the years he's had from that sort of distance, and not too many. Again, goalkeeper applauding the closing down the work rate and the effort in front of him.
Each team can use 6 substitutes this evening, and because of the temperatures here, I expect to see changes in the second half. Ilana with a corner. Rooney again defending. And no one's going to give chase of that, and he almost got there ahead of Michel Bastos.
It's a great run from James Milner, because what it has done is brought the England team right up onto the halfway line, dragged everybody out the 6-yard box.
Milner can now run at Maicon and win a free kick. Good encouragement for everybody in the under-21 side when they see a player like James Milner making the natural progression up into the senior squad and into the team. There is Milner, played in the European final last summer at under-21 level, slightly overhit. Got back there on the ball, albeit only for Luis Fabiano. Now goes Kaká. Brazil, not surprisingly, have seen more of the ball, but the England threat has been almost as great. Certainly had their moments in front of goal. Maybe the best of them in the first couple of minutes when Wayne Rooney very nearly connected with a dangerous cross from Shaun Wright-Phillips. Important header there by Thiago Silva. It's given away by Maicon. Here is Wright-Phillips. Now Barry. Rooney. Wright-Phillips had made the run. Thiago Silva had seen the pass. Also seen the run from Milmar, but he couldn't connect with him. And that's where the ingenuity of Rooney is at its best, when he just comes a little bit deeper and can thread other players through in front of him.
That's exactly what it's all about, and that's when he needs the runners. It was that time it was Shaun Wright-Phillips offering the run. We know that Darren Bent's always looking to spin and go like he is right now. Just got to be a little, sometimes he's got to be prepared to just stand there maybe and just bide his time a little bit. Allow the centre-halves, England centre-halves, not to have to serve it forward quite so quickly. Maybe there's that one there. Just give possession away.
Lucio. Kaká. Ilano. Felipe Melo. Kaká having to come looking for the ball in front of Genius and Barry this time. Just trying to keep Brazil at arm's length. them pass the ball square. Wait their moment to try to intercept, pick them off. Elana's little back here looking to release Maicon. Milner again, seeing out his duties, winning a free kick.
Excellent that is when your wide players are tucking back in like that and tracking the fullbacks yard for yard. Brilliant that is from James Milner, relieving pressure for his team, doing his job. Excellent stuff.
There's a marvellous work ethic about England under Capello. I think it's called fear. And he'll soon have his 15 minutes with them. Lucio. Mitchell Bastos. Too close to Foster. Really winning the free kick. It's clipped by Elano. Barry. Just a little too strong for Jenas. And Kaká collects it again. He quite found his place in the Real Madrid setup as yet. He's been playing essentially behind Benzema. Cristiano Ronaldo's been injured for a while. Just haven't sorted out their multi-million euro talents at the Bernabeu. He knows his place in this team. It's a prominent one. Felipe Melo is quickening things. Mitchell Bastos. Kaká. Felipe Melo. Luis Fabiano can't control it, and England have done well there. For a minute or so, Brazil have had possession without hurting England, and they've just waited their moment, kept their discipline, won the ball back.
Done that very well, organised, good shape about the team when Brazil have the ball, choosing the right moments to try and pinch it when it's rolled into Luis Fabiano, resisting the temptation to get drawn out of position. I think they've done that very well.
Bridge. Towards Ben. He has been feeding off crumbs though so far, Darren Ben.
Yeah, I mean that sort of service, I'm afraid he can do nothing with that. He's fighting, trying to just get above that. Got nobody within 10 yards of him. But it is very, very hot, ferociously hot. It has been. And it's amazing, you think, even though it cools right down in the night, you think you're going to be okay, you think you'll get through it, and automatically you start to think about the second half. I do need to keep a bit in the tank, I've got to conserve a little bit. So understandably, the tempo of the game is up. Then it goes very, very, very quiet.
Foul by Brown. Ball is in preparation for a cold World Cup. A Winter World Cup in Johannesburg, where we're sure it'll be big coat nights for the night games up north. One of the factors which is seen as being a real plus for England and some of the Northern Hemisphere sides. See what Ben Foster wants. Two in a wall. Looked organised tonight. One nervous kicked clearance only. Elano though with the free kick. Important header by Upson, hooked away by Brown. Mitchell Bastos. Brazil have got to go back. England have seen them off again and have produced a controlled first half performance. It looked a very well organised team tonight. I think it's an England team that's been rather thrown together in the circumstances. They seem to know what they're doing under Fabio Capello, and Brazil, for all their reputation and all their standing, have been unable to find a way through. More views from Ian.
Crash also, because if you needed some kind of game, you need to have Peter Crouch to hold the ball and to bring the ball, the team up.
Thanks very much, and rest assured, this is a game that Brazil very much want to win. It's going to be a very interesting second half. We're back with Andy Townsend and Clive Tills.
England betting for their 500th win tonight. It would be quite something to get it against Brazil. First was against Scotland, which I guess was sweet. 1873 at Kennington Oval. And 498 victories later, here we are with an England team on terms with Brazil at the break. Looking back a little less further, England didn't lose after October in the run-up to the 1966 World Cup finals. No qualifying campaign as host nation back then, but Sir Alf Ramsey's team won 7 and drew 1 of the 8 internationals before the tournament. Momentum matters. And England are trying to maintain theirs here in trying circumstances. Close night, the very best opponents, a lot of absentees. Free kick has been given back in midfield to Brazil. It's been a pretty rugged English defensive performance so far. They've got stuck in, they haven't been overawed by the reputations around them. And here's Luis Fabiano to Kaká, Gilberto Silva.
Got to get the legs going again in the first 10 minutes after you've had a little bit of a breather. Got plenty of fluids on board, then you just need to pick it up again. They've started a little bit snappier, a little bit sharper, Brazil.
Milano, and that's a searching ball, a terrific header by Nilmar, and Brazil take the lead with a memorable goal. Wonderfully guided header by Nilmar of Villarreal, beautifully found by Elano, and there in the blink of an eye, the quality which makes Brazil the best team in the world at the moment.
And that's exactly what we were talking about in terms of concentration before the game. It's a great ball. It's a lovely header from Nilmar. He's got the run on Wes Brown. They've just slept and just allowed Elano to have a little bit of room, who's faded that ball in beautifully, and that's a really, really smart header. And that's what Brazil can do to you, Clive. You can feel safe and all of a sudden someone turns, provide the 30-yard ball, someone's running and bang, you're a goal behind.
Well, there's a man who's taken his opportunity because of the injury to Robinho. Nilmar of Villarreal, who scored 4 goals in Brazil's last 3 qualifiers to force his way into the reckoning. And just a minute and 18 seconds after the restart, England find themselves behind.
Yeah, quality ball from Elano. It's a great run from Nilmar. We saw his pace in the first half. He's not had to run 40 yards, he's just made a 15-20 yard run between Upson and Brown. And that's a brilliant header, that's a great finish. It's a little bit behind him, and he just loops that over Foster. Great finish.
Strangely, he's been struggling to win a starting place in a Villarreal team that have made a poor start to the season in Spain. He's got competition from Jose Llorente, who's on the fringe of the Spanish team, and from Giuseppe Rossi, the former Manchester United player who plays for Italy. And it's been 2 from those 3, and Nilmar has been missing out until the last few weeks, but started to establish himself both with club and country now, and that was an expert finish.
You learn plenty about your team against Brazil, Clive. You learn even more when you go a goal behind. Some of these guys haven't played against players of this quality before.
Mistake by Lescott. Maicon survived the handball shout. I think it was handball. Nilmar couldn't sort it out.
Now England have to gather themselves, they have to keep possession. As Ian and Marcel were saying at half-time, they've got to somehow find a way to get in and around the last third and start delivering something for Bent and for Rooney to really feed off.
Milner. Bridge to Jenas. Swung out to right Phillips, but Michel Bastos had enough time with the ball in the air for long enough to intercept. crowded out, and he's been fouled.
A definite foul there, and it's up to Gareth Barry now, as we were saying, Clive, in the first half. He's got to try and get the ball off of the two centre-halves, initiate a lot of England's now forward movement. I'll just watch it sail over his head time and time again, otherwise they'll give the ball away, and you just can't do that as the energy levels start to dwindle.
Now Wright Phillips has got beyond Mitchell Bastos, who had got some through Felipe Melo, but there was a foul by the retreating fullback, and a free kick to England.
Yep, that's better from Sean. Little nutmegs looking to spin and getting behind. He's got to do more of that.
So many options for England on the right-hand side. Theo Walcott's not played for England since June. Milner, one of the options. Oh, look at the space here for Matthew Upson. Back across the face of goal towards Ben. It'll come for Wright Phillips. A little anxious from Genus, but he's going to get a second chance. Milner, Barry. Couldn't find the cross, having stepped into space.
Chance that for Gareth Barry. He knows he should have done better there. Loop back across from Matty Upson. It comes out to Sean Wright Phillips. Hits it well enough. Blocked. Eventually it finds its way to Gareth Barry, who should actually be doing better when he gets in behind the Brazilian defence.
Fabio Capello's 21st game in charge. Bobby Robson's 21st game in charge was the famous win in Rio, John Barnes and all that. But nobody has got a better record in their first 20 games in charge of England than Capello. 115, drawn 2, lost just the 3. France, Spain, Ukraine. But losing now, and Nilmar looking for another goal. He's coming in off Brown.
Yeah, he is. Wes Brown's got to just switch on a little bit quicker. Could have done better, really, denying Nilmar the space for the goal. Again there, all his movement, Nilmar, is from out to in. He's cutting inside, and Wes Brown's just half a yard behind him. He's got to switch on a bit quicker.
Wright Phillips. Rather tamely given away. No free kick, though. Michel Bastos, who went diving. Brown's pass can't find Milner. England just need a little passage where they get half a dozen passes together in this heat. Rooney. Wright Phillips. Michel Bastos was very quickly out. Felipe Melo. Gilberto Silva. Brazil have got England where they want them now. They've already shown their ability on the counter-attack, and England have got to come chasing the game a little bit more than maybe they would want to. Jermaine Defoe is stripped off and ready to come on. England's most prolific substitute goal scorer. Lucio, meanwhile, has found Luis Fabiano taking on Upson, forcing his way past him. Genus caught up with him. A lot of 6 and 7 out of 10 performances for England so far, but at this level you need just a little bit more than that from somebody. Ben couldn't quite control that. Not easy to control, but we're playing against Brazil here.
I just think the service into him has been so average. It really has, from the back in particular, when they've been looking 30 and 40 yards long to try and find him. It's not been good enough. They've not dropped in anything to him, really.
Kaká. Luis Fabiano. Eventually slipped into Kaká. And now Elano. Oh, did it hit the post? Foster trying to cover that post. I'm not sure what Elano had in mind, but it was a bit of an escape.
Well, he took a touch at Elano. He's looking, but I think the goalkeeper does the right thing. He's just dived across the near post and got his gloves on it.
He protected his post, didn't he? He didn't get through Foster, but it could have got anywhere. Well, Darren Bent's difficult evening comes to an end, and it will now be Jermaine Defoe who joins Wayne Rooney, a more familiar striking partnership,
That strike again from Milano. It's probably going to end up fading away from the far post. For the moment, it looked like Ben Foster might get caught at the near, but stood enough, got his gloves on it.
Rooney and Defoe first came together back in 2004. They've been on the field together now in 16 internationals, nearly 9 hours of football, and only scored 3 goals between them in all that time, and all those 3 goals have come in the last 3 link-ups. Brown, oh, Nilmar's there again, now did Foster bring him down? Yes, he did, penalty. Played into trouble by his Manchester United teammate. Ben Foster took evasive action. It's a yellow card, it could have been a lot worse, but Wes Brown culpable. And Foster's now got a penalty to face.
See, now Wes Brown should know better there, Clive. He's already seen Nilmar flashing in off the touchline 3 or 4 times during this game. If you're not sure, if you're not 100% sure, deal with it, go safe. Just want to know why that's not a red card, by the way. Because Nilmar's got the touch. Yeah, maybe. Well, that doesn't make it right, does it?
Well, the only thing you can say is taking it away from goal, but it's a clear goal-scoring opportunity. Luis Fabiano will take the penalty for Brazil. Step up Ben Foster. Oh, miles away. Well, that was an English player, but it's a Brazilian, the Brazilian number 9, and it wasn't close.
It's a shocking penalty for someone of his quality as well. He's got the little sort of staggered run up and he's just skied it. I mean, that is so poor.
Well, double escape for England, because they should be 2 down and a man down, really. But it's still 1-0. Luis Fabiano's got some explaining to do.
But Nilmar off that left flank line has caused England as many problems as any Brazilian player. He really has. When he gets possession, he's always looked to run Wes Brown, and then when he's had the opportunity to dart inside him and run towards Matty Upson, he's done it with great effect.
And a bit of cleverness about Brazil's approach. We expected Luis Fabiano and Nilmar to play together as a front two, but no. Nilmar's come in from false positions late in the day, a bit difficult to mark. Another problem now with Thiago Silva galloping through from centre-back, and he's still there. He sets up Kaká, who shot his block by Barry, and England are hanging on a bit at the moment. Milner to Rooney. Wright Phillips making a run. He sold Brown short, though. He's got it back. Where's Brown? Behind you. It's Nilmar, inevitably.
They're sharp all over the park now, Brazil. Winning the ball back. There's an urgency about them. You can smell that there's something in this game now for more goals.
Really trying to free Milner. Just not a night when you want to be making runs for no reason. And Milner's got to track back now. Gilberto Silva, collected by Alamo, played back to the former Arsenal man Kaká now, up to Nilmar. Felipe Melo, they're toying with England. Played Gilberto Silva into space. Luis Fabiano to Michael. Now Ilano. Lucio does step up like that so well. Looking to play Luis Fabiano in. Little back heelers for Ilano. Good chance.
Starting to enjoy themselves now. This is a real test for England now, because physically there's a lot of white shirts walking around. The yellow shirts are on the move. They're all in sync. They're all in touch with each other. They're starting to enjoy it. You start to fear that if they pinch another one, Clive, in this next 5 or 10 minutes, England are going to be in big, big trouble.
England have a throw in here in an advanced position. Right, Phillips, Defoe. Picked off though by Felipe Melo. Away by Michel Bastos. Here's Luis Fabiano laying claim to it. On goes Kaká. Needed bridge to cover. Milner. He's gone the outside of Maicon and he's run a corner. It's a game work that by James Milner.
Yeah. There's some quality needed now. Milner's on the ball, he's been working hard to try and earn his team the corner. Now he just needs to take a breath, deliver something, let those centre-halves attack it.
Goalkeeper punches. Right, Phillips. Here's Bridge. Space for Lescott. Back to right, Phillips. Milner has some space. Ball swept right into the hands, the grateful hands of Julio Cesar, who gets Felipe Melo on his right. England have plenty of men covering. Just more variety about Brazil's play. England do look a fairly regimented, regular, routine, predictable 4-4-2 at the moment. It's essentially the shape that Fabio Capello has come this far with. Is it too late in the day to be thinking of something different to be going to a tournament with?
I think it's always a bonus for any manager to have an alternative, a slightly different formation, something to maybe change it in a situation like this. So you can find yourself in a situation, Clive, against the top team in a World Cup where you do need to have something else. You can't just always resort to bringing on Peter Crouch and lumping it 40, 50 yards up to him. Sometimes there's got to be a lot more to it than that.
It's the under-21s played through at the back in their last game. Here's Barry. Rooney. No foul. Well, he was eventually. I think Nilmar held his hands up almost in a confession, and the Qatari referee rather belatedly accepted the confession. It's only 1-0. England needs something to spark them here. Just put a little bit more fuel back into the legs. A little fillip of some kind. Big one would be even better. A goal. Jenas. Oh, dear me.
I mean, that's crazy. That is such a waste. Your centre-halves have just run 40, 50 yards up the field. We spoke before the game about their frailties as a back four, as an organised unit at the back. They've always had problems there. Don't do that. Don't knock a 40-yard ball out wide and just give them hand and possession straight back. I mean, that's madness.
There's an element of surprise about the free kick. It wasn't what we expected, and I guess if the ball had been better, then Milner would have been in a good position, but the ball wasn't good enough. It's very difficult to judge England's options in the absence of some of their most creative players, but Steven Gerrard's playing a lot of his football for Liverpool just behind a front man at the moment. It looks like Joe Cole may play at the point of the Chelsea diamond from here on in. They have got players to play in different kinds of positions. Now here comes a change for Brazil with Elano giving way. To it's Dani Alves who's going to come on. Dani Alves, who can't get in the team at right back because of Maicon, so plays most of his football for Brazil in midfield. Here he is, the Barcelona world champion right back. Didn't play in the Champions League final because of suspension. Thiago Silva of Milan. Neymar, or Luis Fabiano I should say. Gil Bastos, Kaká, Felipe Melo. Maicon, and towards Luis Fabiano. It's got up between defenders.
Yeah, it's a good ball into a good area again. Don't throw too many into that sort of area too often, Brazil. Maicon had the quality and he's got the time as well to just try and drop that on Luis Fabiano. So it's decent work actually from the England defenders there. They both, Hudson and Lescott, just both combining to do enough. They're toiling a bit at the moment. England's very, very difficult, and they just don't have the energy and they don't have the craft required now. When people have got possession and time on the ball, they just appear not to have the answers.
Luis Fabiano is the player injured. And Capello finds himself in a strange position. England have another match scheduled for March the 3rd at Wembley, nearly 4 months before the squad convenes again. You can't help but feel it's bound to be a very different squad by then. It'll be the last chance that Fabio Capello has to get a team together before drawing up his provisional party for South Africa and for the 2 warm-up games that will follow. A lot can happen though in 6 months, and all of what is going to happen in the next 6 months is going to be reflected in just one squad selection in March. Good to see Hulk, the Porto forward, in place of a dazed Luis Fabiano. First international cap for a man who's really emerged in the last year. He wasn't a regular with Porto this time last year. So named because of his apparent likeness to Lou Ferrigno, the Incredible Hulk, Dr. Bruce Banner. He had a spell in Japan playing for Tokyo Verdy, who play in green, which led to the christening, and he rejoices now around the fields of Europe in the name of Hulk. Brazilian debut. Barry goes down, but no free kick. Milner couldn't quite lay claim to it. But I mean, Joe Cole's hardly kicked a ball for Chelsea yet. Theo Walcott's hardly kicked a ball for Arsenal this season. Owen Hargreaves and Stuart Downing haven't kicked a ball at all this season. I say a lot can happen between now and March. Hargreaves and Downing are hoping to play the next month or so. Jenas.
Again there, Jermaine Jenas, he makes the ground up, he gets beyond the Brazilian midfielders and then turns back. Just have the energy to keep going, all the options aren't there up front.
Here's Jermaine Defoe. Gareth Barry. Milner keeping the width on this side. Bridge looking to get outside him. It's Milner who crosses with the left foot, and it's not good enough from a right-footed player. Runs away from Neymar. Wright Phillips got to it. Here's Barry. Wright Phillips again. A bit better for England. It's a poor pass.
England have been poor in the last third. The decisions, the little through balls there, I think have been snuffed out far too easily, too predictable. And they defended in numbers well enough in the first 45 minutes. In the last third, apart from Milner really flashing 1 or 2 things in, it's all been very, very tame and predictable.
Here's Wright Phillips. Upson's forward here. And here is Matthew Upson, but it's volleyed by Milner. And volleyed close by James Milner. And they have 2 men over them beyond the last Brazilian defender.
Better from Shaun Wright Phillips. Better ball in as well. Milner, great, has the courage to hit it first time. I thought Upson might just get down his line of sight. There's a lovely finish, lovely strike. It's a side-footed, controlled effort. He hasn't lashed at it. Just couldn't keep it down.
But here's Kaká running free now for Brazil. Neymar. First touch just a little too heavy. There's a lot of energy and work rate about James Milner, but he does have a touch of quality when he gets into those positions. Just couldn't quite link up with Rooney, but he has won a corner. A lot of wide men vying for places in the England squad at the moment.
Well, and you know, whenever he plays, there's nothing unexpected or unpredictable about James Milner. He is what he is. He's honest, he's hard-working. You can clip it in off either foot. He gives you 100% every time.
Milner combining with Wright Phillips here. Wright Phillips is onside. Cross easily enough, defended by Thiago Silva. Kaká finds Dani Alves. Felipe Melo. Dani Alves. He's done well to link up here with Kaká, but Barry recovered equally well. Strange thing, there's a little competition going on within the Aston Villa dressing room, really, with Milner, Young and probably Downing eventually all competing for the same spot in the England squad. Here's Defoe. And if you throw Lennon and Walcott into the equation, then there's a certain David Beckham who is not available for this game because of club duties in North America. Can't all go. Defoe flag. It came from behind the last defender. He didn't actually touch the ball. Confirmation of that.
Half a dozen England players all warming up. They're all looking like they're sort of ready to get out there and get involved. The minute Capello wants to change it again, I'd imagine there'll be another change pretty soon, Clive, just to try and liven it up a little bit more once more.
Other England substitutes tonight are Gary Cahill, Ashley Young, Peter Crouch, Stephen Warnock, Tom Huddleston. This is Dani Alves, Kaká. Brazil have got that little bit of measure back in their game again now. Didn't know his fancy dress, Andy.
It's a bit hot in them, I'm sure.
Brown taking no chances with Neymar anymore. It looks a bit weary, Wes Brown.
Yeah, he does, yeah. I think he's disappointed probably with himself, actually, there, that he's just got caught napping a couple of times and he's been punished.
Hulk. Away, though, by Brown. There's Kaká. Shot deflected. Easy enough for Foster. I think they're still in this if they can just lift their game. Maybe fortunate to be in it. There's Fabiano's penalty miss and only a yellow card for Foster, and it really should have been red. Kaká. Well done, James Milner again.
to take into account the amount of quality players that England are missing here, Clive, when we're talking about that bit of flair, that bit of imagination required to try and pick this Brazilian defence. It's difficult. There's a lot of guys out there that have come into the squad, the geniuses of this world. Very, very difficult in this sort of company, in these conditions, taking that all into account.
Here's Shaun Wright-Phillips. He's surrounded, but he's still got the ball. And now he's taking on Michel Bastos. A lot more purpose about that run from Wright-Phillips, committing men.
Benteke, instead of looking up and trying to knock it off to someone that time, Shaun just put his head down. Just had a go at players, just took them on.
Barry. Brown. Stepped forward by Upson. Now who's that come off? Corner kick. Another opportunity for England. 15 minutes remaining. It's just a spell early in the second half when you wondered whether Brazil were going to go on and win this handsomely, but England is still in contention. Wright-Phillips. Milner. Crossing eventually towards Upson. Oh, and a bit of a misunderstanding. I think it skinned off Lucio for a corner.
I just wondered if Jermaine Defoe, he sort of gambled a little bit towards the goalkeeper. If he'd have just stayed where he was, that may have dropped to him.
Lescott and Upson can stay forward and try to put some more heat on Julio Cesar. Now can England punch a goal and get back into this game? Milner takes. It's not a good one. Headed away by Hulk. Kaka. Here's Hulk now as they break out. He's got options with Maicon steaming forward. In towards Dani Alves. He'll come forward. Nilmar Brown just about defended it. I don't know how much he knew about it. Barry gets back there, but it was a beautifully engineered counter-attack.
The yellow shirt streaming forward there. It was wonderful to watch. He was critical of Wes Brown before. Credit him here because he just turns, and he's just got to throw himself in the way of that. That's excellent defending.
Body on the line defending from Wes Brown. It was needed. Michel Bastos.
Again, but having the quality there, Michael and Clive, to just take another touch, just to have a look and pick someone out of the back post.
Lucio! Look at that! Hit the post! Costa couldn't get close to it. Brazilian centre-back Lucio venturing forward. He's right-footed, you know, and with his left foot steaming a shot against the post.
After all these years, that guy is still ploughing forward. He must fancy himself as a centre-forward, I think, deep down, Lucio. Incredible how he keeps doing it.
Rooney! Well struck, well gathered by Julio Cesar.
Yep, that's the Lucio strike. Costa's beaten all ends up there. It's a terrific shot, it really is, for a centre-half. Bounding forward and just unleashes that left-foot strike.
Fell too much, didn't it? Lucio it was who scored the goal, the late goal, which won the Confederation Cup final in Johannesburg for Brazil in the summer, beating the USA. A World Cup winner himself back in 1902 alongside Roque Jr. Remember him? Here's Nilmar making that run again. Brown's alive to it. In fact, it was Lucio who made the slip which let Michael Owen in for the first goal of that quarter-final in Shizuoka. But he recovered.
The biggest disappointment from an England perspective has probably been, apart from that save we just saw from Julio Cesar, Clive, I can't hardly recall the goalkeeper having to put his hands on the ball. It was a decent strike from Rooney. He's had to get down and smother that.
Now the scoreline as it stands is a tribute to England's industry as much as anything. Barry. Here's Defoe. came Mitchell Bastos. Though Fuddy was fouled. Dani Alves. Mike on to Gilberto Silva. Some space for Mitchell Bastos. Dani Alves. Here's Hulk. Dani Alves. Nilmar, Kaká, lovely combination. Dani Alves trying to get there, but alert to the danger and tracking back every inch of the way. Jermaine Jenas.
Fabulous one-touch football. That's another thing that the England players can learn from this game tonight, is that it's good tracking, by the way, again from Jermaine Jenas at this stage of the game. Last 10 minutes, the legs are really starting to feel it here. He's done well to track Dani Alves, but again, their one-touch play, they're prepared to just pop it around one touch in and around the last third. And England are maybe having 1 and 2 touches.
No, they won't be sorry to see the back of Kaká and Nilmar have both been outstanding tonight. On in their place come Julio Baptista, now with Roma, once of Arsenal. And a debut for Carlos Eduardo, number 20 of Hoffenheim. Fabulous effort that was from Lucio. They've hit a post, they've missed a penalty, but still Nilmar's 47th minute goal is all that separates England and Brazil. Now Gareth Barry has gone off too, and we're going to see another appearance for Peter Crouch, and also Tom Huddleston's come on for a debut for England. Rooney's gone out to the right-hand side to replace Shaun Wright-Phillips. It's interesting he's keeping Rooney on. I'm sure that he's got a great deal to prove, but clearly Fabio Capello wants to try to save this game. Dani Alves. Here's Julio Baptista. Can't get in the Roma team at the moment. There's Tom Huddleston. First appearance at full international level for him. For Peter Crouch, a 36th international cap, and this is a man who scored 18 England goals. So it's Tottenham's Crouch and Defoe down the middle, and Manchester United's Rooney from the right, and Aston Villa's Milner from the left. About 8 minutes to save the day.
He's chopped and changed it around a wee bit now, for sure. What England have got to try and resist is, yes, they want to find Crouch, yes, they want to use his height and the threat that he can offer in that respect, but not just blast it forward to him from all angles. Got to make sure they try and engineer a scenario where getting Milner on it still, maybe now Rooney's in the wider areas so as they can deliver something for him to attack.
Has been mainly a Tottenham substitute this season, but he's started the last 3 games, ironically, because of Jermaine Defoe's suspension. Jermaine Jenas' foot a little high. Not much of him, Carlos Eduardo. Here he is back on the wall. Dani Alves will find Hulk. Rooney. Crouch. Defoe had to try to bend the run. He did stay onside. Brown. Fouled by Carlos Eduardo. Here's Huddleston. I was looking through the record books this morning. There's a record of players coming late into World Cup squads, going into the tournament with only a handful of caps and making a big impact in the tournament itself. It goes all the way back to 1966 when, Peterson Hurst had hardly played for England before that tournament, and it's been continued by various players down the years. Peter Beardsley in 1986 among them. Some of the big successes for England in major tournaments. David Platt in 1990, Michael Owen in 98, hardly played for England before the tournament. I wonder if somebody is going to come through with a handful of caps and make an impact in South Africa. Here's Carlos Eduardo. Well played by Michael. Michel Bastos. Got Rooney chasing back. Dani Alves has found some space here, and he loves to have a crack from range, and Foster dealt with that pretty well.
Yeah, good hands from the goalkeeper, that is. That's not easy when they dip in front of you like that. You're never quite sure how high they're going to pop up off the ground. It's good work from the goalkeeper.
Fabio Capello said 2 or 3 months ago that he knew who his #1 goalkeeper was for the World Cup finals. Do you know who it is?
No, no clue.
Interesting selection tonight. Rob Green's here and on the bench. David James is absent.
It is.
Nursing an injury.
Ben Foster's done well, Clive. I don't blame him. Can't proportion any blame for the goal to him. I think his hands have been decent. He's dealt with everything that was come at him in that respect. He's had 1 or 2 wobbly moments in other games for England. I think that one there is just another example of got his body behind it, well watched it. It's good hands.
One Aston Villa player will replace another now, with Ashley Young coming on for these last few moments in place of James Milner. Probably a more natural player on the left-hand side, although he's right-footed too. At least he plays on the left for Aston Villa.
He's worked hard, James Milner. He is what he is, as I said earlier. I don't think he's done himself any harm tonight. Worked tirelessly up and back. He's tried to put 1 or 2 crosses in. They haven't quite found the target, but that's what James Milner is. What you see is what you get.
It's a good leap by Upson, but he's landed very awkwardly and he's in some pain now. It's Upson who's down and up. There's Carlos Eduardo. Dani Alves. He's gone down a little bit too easily there, Carlos Eduardo. Ashley Young going back with him. Looks like an old-school Brazilian dribbler. They've been bemoaning the lack of traditional Brazilian types in their squad. They even see Kaká as a European kind of player, an athlete. Robinho is the old style. Crouch just couldn't quite gather that in. He's been penalised. Thiago Silva climbing rather gingerly to his feet.
Yeah, Peter Crouch just having a nibble there at him, just as that one ran away from him.
Still limping, still demanding. Lucio with the free kick. Julio Baptista. Comfortably away by Upson. Crouch trying to lay claim to it. He's kept it but run back into traffic. Ball's out of play. Hulk. Michel Bastos. Brazil have another game here in the Middle East on Tuesday against Oman. England could have played another friendly if they'd wanted to, but that would perhaps been trying the patience of the Premier League managers a little bit. Now Rooney's got the ball and he's been fouled surely by Thiago Silva. The throw-in has been given. It's loose from Brown.
Tired minds, tired legs now. They're just wondering whether England have got something to maybe fashion just one last opportunity. Doesn't look like it at the moment.
Dani Alves. Carlos Eduardo to Julio Baptista. And now Dani Alves. He has scored some spectacular free kicks for Barcelona, but he's getting a little too ambitious, I think, here.
Last one tested Ben Foster. That one, I'm afraid, tested a couple of people in row Z.
Game's been playing in a slightly unreal atmosphere.
Yeah, it is. Atmosphere-wise, it's poor here. Fixture's been a little bit tame, if I'm being honest, in the end. What we have seen, what England have learned, is that they're going to need to come up with something with a lot more imagination and the last third to beat their very best teams. That's what they will take away from this. They'll have watched this Brazilian team and admired how, when they rev it up, when they really go for it across that halfway line, they can make a difference. And that's what England have got to find in the big games against the best teams.
Here's Crouch now. Driven back towards Huddleston. It almost came for Defoe. Seen him gobble up chances like that before. I think Huddleston may have been going for goal, but it fell for Defoe. Upson. Jenas. Here's Brown. Now Defoe. Squeezing across. Crouch is there waiting for it. Now, is that a corner? It is. One last chance for England, maybe. Well, it would be an ambush if they could steal a goal now. Brazil have been the better team on the night, but they haven't been able to put England away. And there's still a chance. Brown, Lescott, Upson all in there. It's in towards West-Brow, well defended. It was Hulk who was back there. Brazil can bring it away with Carlos Eduardo, and now look at some space here. And Julio Baptista couldn't gather it in. It does veer between the sublime and the ridiculous, Julio Baptista.
He certainly does. I'm delighted that was him, not Luis Fabiano. I thought held the ball up really well and showed some wonderful control and appreciation of others around him earlier in the match.
Hulk. Julio Baptista, whose nickname is the Beast. They've got Hulk and the Beast up front now. Well gathered by Defoe. He's tiny with the ball. That's a good ball in towards Crouch. Defended by Lucio. Late flurry here from England.
Great ball from Jermaine Defoe, exactly right. Just got half a yard and delivered it. Defended.
One back by Young this time. So won't lie down, England. And now Brazil can maybe bring it away. Put the match to bed. Gilberto Silva just kept them ticking over all night long. I hardly notice him really, but you'd notice him if he gave the ball away. He never does. Thiago Silva's header, forward by Michel Bastos. Carlos Eduardo. Looks like a fourth defeat for Fabio Capello and another England defeat against Brazil. One of only 4 nations who've beaten England more times than England have beaten them. 3 victories, the last of them back in 1990, and never really any prospect of that changing this evening. Here's Hulk. Well, that's him. He's very direct.
Yeah, he's not afraid to have a pop. We've seen that in the Champions League. Good feet, works himself half a yard. He's a long way out there. That's always going to ask a lot.
It's been a salutary lesson for England in the end. They've been a better team, no doubt about that. They've hung in, and defeat was only by a single goal, despite all the absences. Just one goal, 2 minutes into the second half by Nilmar, beat England. And nothing that even Wayne Rooney with the captain's armband could do about that tonight. Brazil 1, England 0.